Hi guys, and welcome back to part 2. We're going to dive straight in, and we've sort of messed around with the bass, got that sounding a bit better, cut a lot of the low end off there. Now what I want to do is I want to add some parallel compression onto these drums because they need sorting out, they need some life in them a little bit. So we're going to insert another bus. We're going to call this parallel compression, and in the Pro channel we are going to replace this we're going to right click and replace module with the S-type bus compressor. Put the threshold, the attack, on about there. Put the release on auto. It does a pretty good job, and we'll mess around with the threshold and the makeup as we go. Now, to do parallel compression, if you're not entirely sure, I have got a tutorial on this up already, but just to show you again, is you're basically mixing a clean signal with a compressed signal, and you can balance the two out. What we're going to do now is we're going to combine this par comp bus with our drums bus, and the way to do that is through ascend. So we're going to, after we've made our par comp bus, we're going to come over to drums, and we're going to click the plus sign on the sends, and we're going to go straight to par comp, and there we go. And now when we play the track back, if we solo the drums, you'll see that we have the compressor working. I keep pointing at the screen as if you can see me pointing at the screen. We've got the parallel compressor on the parallel compression bus. You can see working, and the level. And now it's a case of just mixing the two in to whatever you think sounds good. And you can also work sort of mess around with the compressor itself, which is what I'm going to do right now. So let's just play through it and see what we can do. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Our bass drum still needs work, so we're going to work on that now. We're going to solo this bass though at the same time, so we can make sure that we're mixing the two together. So look at this bass drum. think that sounds good. We need just to add another compressor onto the kick drum, just to boost it up a little bit more and make it a bit more punchy. But I think that sounds good. Now, before anybody comments, which I know they're going to, you know, you're mixing on headphones, blah 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 blah. I do have speakers. I'm mixing on headphones because this is how the majority of you guys are going to be mixing, or on sort of budget speakers, which, to be fair, aren't, unless your room's treated, is no different really than mixing on headphones. And I think something that actually needs to be said: if you know what a good mixed song should sound like in any room, if you are used to the sound of a room, you can mix in that room. You can. Because if you know what a good song sounds like in that room, then you can mix to similar standards. You just can. The reason why rooms are treated is to allow you to get the best possible mix, because it's neutral. But if you already know the acoustics of the room that you're in, and you know what a good song should sound like in it, then you can mix in that room. You can do it. It can be done. You can mix on headphones. It's not impossible like some people think it is. It's not as it might not be as accurate, and it might take you longer. But reference is always the key. Have a reference song that you want your song to sound like, and keep referencing it. Keep playing your track on different speakers. Go to your car, play it in your car. Play it on really crappy speakers that you find in your house. Play the song that you want your song to sound like on those speakers, and then play your song afterwards. Compare the two. You can do it. So I'm mixing on headphones. I will be monitoring through speakers as well. Obviously the problem is I can't do it through speakers at the moment because I'm recording through a microphone. You know, it just won't work. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm wearing headphones, before anybody comments. Bedroom mixing is so popular right now, and as long as you have a half decent pair of headphones, Sennheiser are obviously a really good quality. These ones, in fact, are, which ones are these? These are the HD 205s, right? And they're literally, when I first got them a few years ago, they were about 60 quid. I broke those ones a few weeks ago and had to replace them. And these are now 30 quid. So what's that, $60, $50? Something like that. It's a good price. This was from PC World in England, so I don't know what it's like in other places. So it's not a bad price, and they're really good headphones. They're not top of the range, you know, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about budget bedroom mixing here. Okay, back to it. Where were we? Yes, so kick drum. While we're here, we will sort out the rest of the drums, I think. We're going to... What have I done there? Solo these drums, and we're going to listen to them and see what we got to do. Another really good trick as well is while you're mixing, especially now that we've got this new equalizer, is to, every now and again, once you've made sort of a substantial amount of changes, is to go over to your master bus and just have a look at the frequency spectrum and see how you're shaping the overall mix rather than just individual sort of EQs here and there, go over to the master bus and just check how everything's sitting. I'll just check now, because one of the main reasons when I'm getting, let's go back to sort of mixing with headphones. One of the main areas to mess up on is to add too much bass, because it sounds really good in your ears, bass. But when you play it on the speakers, it's too boomy, and that is actually one of the problems with the EQ on the blog website. If you go over and listen to the final to that sort of mix, if you were to throw one of these equalizers on there, an analyzer, sorry, you'll see that there's way too much bass on there. And if you play it through a speakers, it's kind of whoa, 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 whoa. Just keep checking the master bus and how the overall frequency spectrum is sitting. It's just a nice little trick to have up your sleeve, especially now with this new equalizer. I absolutely love it. It's so handy to have. Okay, sorry, so let's back to it. I keep getting distracted. Actually, to be fair, the drums aren't too bad. Sort of in other videos, we're going to go in and actually look at adding effects, so reverb and that sort of thing, to help the instrument sit more into the mix. But this is purely just leveling at the moment. Let's look at the guitars and just see how these guys are doing. Yeah, these guitar left and right, these guys are going to need a bit of work. So let's solo these. There's a lot of space here, a lot of activity going on between the 100 and 200 region. Okay, so what I've done there is cut quite a bit. I did a high pass on both of those. And if you noticed, I re-looked again at the master bus, and it's leveled out that bottom. There was still quite a lot of bottom end in the master bus, and it's evened that out slightly. Another good trick I always found is when you're EQing bass, the bass guitar, is to make sure that you're not adding too much. Is in my opinion anyway, is to keep going over to it and just muting it just for a second and then unmuting it. And because sometimes when you get lost mixing everything else, you can sometimes not hear the bass. It becomes part of everything else and you forget that it's there. So you make the mistake of boosting the bass up a little bit more because your ears get used to the noise that you're listening to. So you start to not hear certain things. And you can sometimes make the mistake of just boosting things here and there and just going, oh, it's not loud enough, blah, 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 I can't hear it. But it's just your ears getting used to it. So rather than doing that, just go over to it every now and again, just mute it and unmute it. And if you can notice when you mute it that it's not there, and then put it back on again, leave it. And to be fair, the same with the kick drum as well, exactly the same thing. Let's just play it and I will show you. I'll mute it and... What it does is it trains your ears to listen to that instrument again, and you'll notice it a lot more. So when you mute it, bring it back in, your ears will tune back into that instrument and you'll be able to hear it a lot better. Nice little tip for you. I think actually I've reached the end of this tutorial. I know we haven't done very much here either, but I'm dying a little bit. I need to go take some tablets. I will carry this on after I've sort of sorted my face out and my nose and everything, because I carried this on straight from the last one. But a few things we've recapped there. Not too much bass. If you're mixing on headphones, be careful of how much bass you're introducing. Because just because it sounds good in your ears doesn't mean that it's going to sound good on speakers. Keep an eye on your bass guitar and your kick drums. Don't boost unless you have to. Always attenuate, and mute the bass and the kick drum. Bring them back in if your ears are getting used to it. What other thing did we talk about? I've forgotten. I'm so sorry. I'm not really with it in this tutorial. The next one I will be better. I promise. I'm just going to go get myself sorted and whatnot, and I will see you very soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye. Hi guys, I just want to apologise for the ending of the last video. I really wasn't feeling very well, but I'm feeling much better now, which means I'm cracking on with the rest of the tutorials. I also want to let you know that some tutorials in the future will be about Blue Cat's audio plugins. If you don't know who they are, Google Blue Cat's Audio. They're a company that do fantastic VST plugins, so please do check them out. There is a tutorial, I think a couple of tutorials on our YouTube channel about a Blue Cat's Audio plugin. I think it's the Frequency Analyst, so please check that out. Check them out, they're awesome. Again, I'm so sorry about the ending of the last video, but more content is coming, I promise you. Please like and subscribe us, all that good stuff. If you like what we do, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, go to our blog, all the links are in the description below, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much. I love you all, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you guys. Bye-bye. It's very bushy, everything's in the same space, mix, everything needs to be. There needs to be more sort of spatial awareness going on. So we'll deal with all that. In that spectrum that may have artifacts or any hissing or humming that you may want to get rid of, sweeping across those frequencies, fine-tuning them.